welcome to Body Story with Coco. How are you today?
Great.
Wonderful. Before we get started, Loretta, can you please introduce yourself? Tell us your name, where you live, what you do, and why you said yes to telling your story today.
Sure. Well, my name is Loretta Gray Cloud. I am a Kuwi Chasha Lakota and Hunkpati Dakota woman living here on the East Coast. I'm
Mhm.
originally from South Dakota. I take a lot of pride in, my background. I'm an Indigenous woman. I'm a mother of two children.
Mhm.
And I do body work here on the East Coast. I'm a fascial stretch therapist. I used to be a personal trainer, but I chose to move into body work specifically because I felt like it just went along with my nurturing sort of soul that I have as a mother and as a cancer and just I feel like healer in general. Yeah.
Beautiful. Why did you say yes when I reached out to you and asked you to share your body story?
Oh yes, that part of the question. Sorry.
No, it's
I
okay.
I chose to participate because, to be quite honest with you, I haven't really taken the time to really think about um, the questions or think
Mhm.
about my body at all. I just have been on this journey of, back in the day, I made some goals and I met some goals, and I just keep sort of like moving forward and not really acknowledging like what I've done in the past or yeah, I just felt like I really wanted to dive deeper into how I felt about my body for reals.
Oh, I love it. Oh, this is why I do this. Okay, let's get started.
Sure.
Where do you want to start, Mama? Where would you, when you hear the word body story, you said you're a mom, a proud Indigenous woman. Where do you want to start with your body story? Where does it go for you right away in your mind?
I guess right away it goes to sort of where my story starts a little bit. It really brings me to like being a mother first, right? Like it kind of that's what jumps into my mind first when I want to think about like my body story. But when I started thinking about my body story, I realized that like it really started much earlier than I really knew, mostly because after I started just throwing all of these things around, I, as an Indigenous woman and as my mother's first child, as a female, I was sort of thrown into that motherly position really early in life. Like I was 11 years old when my mom had one of her last children, which
Okay.
means I was 12 years old taking care of a little baby. My mom was a single mom and she had several jobs. And so I had a baby on my hip at 11 years old, right? And to school and all of that. So
Yeah.
motherhood, um, I started having issues with my body when I was probably in middle school. Like I was the thicker child.
Okay.
A lot of the time, I
All
was
right.
a little string being cute little thing. Um,
Okay, you said I like how you said thick. I used to the word fat was the word when I was growing up. We were
really,
using thick. Thick
while
is
you,
not. I like thick. Embrace thick is like you're embracing your body, but fat just. Oh, I just remember hearing that word as a child, and it just did something to my body. I just did not like it at all.
yeah, no, for sure. I think that, I mean, my mom really embraced her thickness when I was
Mm-hmm.
a little girl. And so
That's
I think
wonderful.
that's really where it came from.
Yes.
And she tried to help me out when I was growing up and struggling with feeling like I was fat.
Can
And
I ask you when you say she embraced, how do you know it as a young girl? How did you know that your mother had embraced her body and the fullness and every
um,
part of her body? How'd you know that?
her confidence, like I mean, just her confidence in
Mm,
anything that she wore, she didn't care, right? She wore
mm,
what she wanted to wear.
mm,
Um, my mom was, I mean, I don't know, she was just like this beautiful human
mm.
being, this butterfly that like no matter what, relationship didn't work out, she just moved right along,
Mm.
right? And
What
just so,
sign is your mom? I'm sorry to interrupt. What sign is she?
oh, I don't even know her sign. She was born
When's
in
her birthday?
the 22nd
Of what?
January.
She's an Aquarius. She's an
Aquarius?
air sign.
Oh, I have to remember that.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, she's an Aquarius. But you seeing your mother embrace her confidence, you're feeling that that helped you in your middle school or teenage years. What did that do for you?
I feel like, I mean, I don't know if I would say that it really helped me in those years. It helped me later on. I think that
Mm,
it was more of like the terminology, right? Like I wouldn't say like, oh, I'm fat. My mom literally would just always tell me like, well, you're thick. Don't listen to them.
mm,
You're thick.
mm,
Don't
mm,
worry about them. You're thick. And so
mm,
that was kind of drilled into my head from her. But
mm.
kids were mean. And so
Yes.
one of the other things that I discovered in high school was like I was built sort of like a mother a little bit, right? And so boys in high school sort of, I want to say like maybe over sexualized just
Mm,
my body in general because one, I was carrying a baby around every day after
mm,
school, but also was shaped
mm.
apparently what a mother should be shaped like if after she had a child or something.
Did you
So
know as at a young age that you had like a more womanly figure? Were you
no,
aware of that?
I didn't. So this is me coming to like putting this all together. Oh, okay. I get it now. That's what was happening to me whenever I was in high school or whenever I was going from middle school into high school. I had no idea. I just
Mm,
felt like any little attention that I kind of did get from, the opposite sex, like I was grateful for because I just did
mm,
feel cute. Um,
mm.
feel and I mean, not just body wise, but I had like one of the craziest little snaggle tooth when I was younger. I had to have
Okay.
braces, but literally, like my central incisor was behind my lateral incisor was behind my central incisor. So it looked like I literally was missing a tooth
Okay.
in the front. And so that
Mm.
kind of like followed me
Bad stuff.
all
Oh,
throughout life too. Like I don't know if I've really truly authentically smiled literally since before I had braces for real.
yeah.
Um
And
yeah.
see what, and even with the body story, Loretta, it can go so from our hair to our smile to our skin. Like some women have talked about loving the evenness of their skin. I mean, it's
Mhm.
everything to our shoe size, like just it encompasses so much. So I just wanted to keep it totally open and even to hear where kind of the things that you're taking a moment to reflect back on how they were a part of your body story.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, my smile, my weight a little bit was, it was really hard to be accepting of that up until like I think college, right? When I was like really,
College.
yeah, where
So
I
you,
really felt in control and sort of beautiful.
oh, tell me more. I gotta check because it's so funny. I obsess over this. It's why I'm doing this. This has been like an obsession. And I think of all the phases, Loretta, and college was still not one where I felt beautiful or was comfortable. It just wasn't on the outside, the world wouldn't have known that, but I knew it. You
Mhm.
started to feel that in college. Can you talk a little bit more about that? What was it about that phase?
Well, I would say it was college for me because that was when I had like my first real relationship and real like love of my life type stuff, right? I met
Uh-huh.
this cowboy,
Ah,
Indian cowboy.
Cowboys. Ooh,
Um,
an Indian cowboy.
yeah, I met this really handsome Indian cowboy.
Oh, it
Um,
sounds like a dream.
Feel really beautiful, right? Like I didn't even realize or understand how, like I didn't understand anything really until I met him and I just
Mm.
what true love was and what just being comfortable and loving yourself was. And then, we got pregnant right away. Like real quick. And so
Oh,
I was pregnant for like the first 2 years that we were together. And
wow.
Yeah, we had two babies back to back. And I
Wow.
felt the most beautiful and most like
Mm.
everything when I was pregnant. So
Can
I felt
I
most beautiful when I was pregnant.
can I just take it there, Loretta? Because this is you're hitting on something right now that just it just does something inside of my spirit, and I want to pick your brain about this a bit more.
Sure.
Do you have girlfriends, friends in your life, maybe even around the same age that are close to you that have not biologically bore a child in their body?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I want to, where I'm at as a 38-year-old woman, I think about motherhood every day. And the question that has been lingering in my mind for many years is if I leave this earth without carrying a child and growing a child inside of my body, will I feel fulfilled in my life? And I've wrestled, I'm still kind of sitting with that question, but I'm finally getting comfortable with knowing that there are many ways motherhood plays out. I mean, the conversations I'm having around this are blowing my mind. But to hear a mom and know my mom, who in my mind is like Queen Bee, that makes you just more beautiful to be a mother. So, can you talk a little bit more about your journey with feeling more beautiful because you're a mom?
Um, yeah. So I feel like because I think of pregnancy as being as close to like the creator as I could possibly be. Like in that moment, like I really understood when I first heard my first child's heartbeat, right? I thought, oh my God, like I cannot believe that I'm literally creating this
Mm.
little human being. And pretty soon, like, when is this soul, right? Like, I'm really interested in like when the soul
Mm.
decided to choose like me as a mother, right? And so I guess I just felt so beautiful and so blessed and so like almost
Mm.
holy in a sense that I was able to do that. I felt like I
Mm.
was this like gatekeeper of like bringing,
Mm.
another life into the world.
Ooh.
How powerful we
Yes.
really are, right? Like
Mm.
it's insane, and I have goosebumps just thinking about it. Um,
Mm.
and I think that that was like one of the main players. I was well loved during my pregnancy too,
Oh,
right? So that helped a lot, I think.
yes.
Knowing my people had my back. My mom moved across the country to come
Mm.
help me like raise, her first grandbabies. And so I
How
had
I'm so sorry to interrupt. Finish your thought.
no, that's okay. So I had my community really close to me, really close to me. My whole family relocated to Montana because I was a baby. It's crazy.
No, that speaks to the integrity and the core of who you are and where you come from.
Mhm.
Did your Can you talk to me about how maybe you thought differently about your body after you became a mother? Did that change at all?
Yeah, of course. It definitely changed after I became a mother, after my body changed a whole lot, carrying two kids. I gained a lot of weight. I wasn't the healthiest, right? Yeah, I really took care of myself. I ate for two, I ate for three. I didn't really exercise. And then, I also really took on that stay at home, take care of your family
Mm,
role that I felt like, I needed to take on. So I quit
yeah.
school, I quit my job, and I literally just stayed home and took care
Mm,
of the family.
wow.
I had my mom there to help a little bit.
Yes.
Um, and once I think maybe my son was like 2.5
Okay.
ago, and I couldn't climb steps without like huffing and puffing, right? I noticed I wasn't in any of the pictures. Like, why am I
Ooh, what do you
in the
mean?
pictures?
You avoided them?
I avoided them, but I didn't know
Really?
I was avoiding pictures, right? I'm looking at all the pictures and
Okay.
like, dang, where am I? Oh, I'm either taking the pictures or I'm like off in a corner trying not to be in the pictures
Wow.
because I was uncomfortable with the way
Mm.
that I looked. Um, I was like 230 pounds at my heaviest after my
Yeah.
second child. Um, and my knees were aching.
Mm.
My, like I couldn't breathe when I would go up and down steps.
Yeah.
Um, and finally, I just one day got tired of it and decided, like, hey, I need to get my life together. My dad died of heart disease.
Oh.
My family, they all have diabetes. Uh,
Mm.
I'm going to go down that same path if I don't smarten up,
Mm.
get my life together. So for me, it wasn't necessarily like, I feel ugly, I want to do something. It was, I feel like I might die. I
Oh.
should probably do something, right? Like there's some
Yeah.
health concerns here. This is, I at my age, I shouldn't be hurting that much, right? With too little,
Absolutely.
it
And
didn't
I
make it.
like when people take on the mindset, and it's unfortunate sometimes it has to get to like a place of fear, for our lives or what have you. But if
Yeah.
that's why even like hearing other people's body stories, if you can like give yourself props for something you're doing that's tapped into your body, whether it's making a smoothie every day or
Hmm.
taking yoga 3 times a
Hmm.
week or being
Yeah.
out in nature, whatever your thing is that makes you feel good and connected to your body. So it's instead of getting to that place of where it's just like the point of what am I doing? I have to start from scratch. Like to just make this something that you just love and it's just who you are. It's like breathing.
Yeah.
So for to hear so you going from so would you say 230 at your heaviest to where you have like a very active lifestyle now, how do you talk and think about your body now in the present? What's that like
Yeah.
for you now?
So this is kind of a hard one to admit, but like, yeah, I try to breathe all of this positivity and stuff into people that I know. And I have a lot of my family members and just women that I went to school with and grew up with near the reservation
Yeah.
reach out to me and ask me questions like, oh my gosh, how did you do it? You're still so fit. I can't
Mm,
believe it. And that makes me feel good because I'm like, okay, well, they can see that I am living this healthy, literally healthy, active lifestyle. Every day I do something, I do movement, I try to make sure that I'm eating correctly.
mm,
But I'm really hard on myself. I'm
mm,
super hard on myself. And I feel like sometimes I still have that like I'm a big girl mentality, kind of. I even find that when I shop, I
yeah.
always buy clothes that are like much larger than
Oh,
I always have to go take them back because I'm like, I'll hold it up and I just don't think
oh my gosh.
fit something,
I
right?
relate to this. I can't even tell you how much ordering clothes. My sister Santana was over here. She's like, order this and order that. I'm like, I have to try stuff on my body. I
Mm-hmm.
have to. It's just some things. They're just gonna. I think when you find that gentleness where you can be compassionate with yourself, you're like, this is just my thing. This is
Mm-hmm.
gonna be that little hang up. It's not taking over my life. It's not consuming me. But this is just something I recognize is just always kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
And that body dysmorphia almost picking up things that are too. I'll pick up something that's like a large when I know I could be wearing a medium. I
Exactly.
still do it to this day. And so, do you have people in your world or in your life or in your circle that kind of point that out to you, Loretta, and just in a way that they do it in a maybe a playful, gentle way, but just to remind you, like, you are a different person in your mind and body right now. Do you have people in your life that do that for you?
I would say that I do. Yeah, I've done a really great job of like creating a little family circle over here on the East Coast. I'm
Yeah.
literally here alone. I have no family close, right?
Oh,
And so I had to create my own little family. And so thank goodness, yes, I have a group of beautiful girlfriends who
oh.
definitely kick my ass occasionally and just let me know. Sometimes it takes a little like
It
roughness
does.
sometimes for me to really get something. And so yeah, in their own way, they definitely let me know that look, like don't be so damn hard on yourself. You look fine,
Mm. I
fine.
mean, just
Get
glowing. How
together.
do you celebrate your body? Is there something I love to hear women's And to me, I do love the word ritual. There is a lot of like very traditional, sacred things about my spirit that are just naturally there. So the word ritual resonates with me. So, are there things that you do that are just a part of your day to day routine that you just honor that are specifically focused on your body, Loretta?
Um, I don't think that I do have anything that's really specific or ritualistic that I do um to take care of my body. I mean, I do the I want to say like weekly facial, right? You take
Okay.
out of your busy week to do a
Mm-hmm.
little facial and just relax a little bit. I definitely do that.
Okay.
Um,
I mean, your skin has a beautiful glow. Do you have something you do in the evening or in the morning that's consistent?
I guess just my skincare routine.
That's a
Uh,
ritual to me. Yeah. Do you
taking
make it
care.
like do you make anything like add that little extra like for me, I think of my nighttime and morning time routine. Nothing about that is rushed. Moisturizing, nothing is rushed about that. Like the whole evening routine is like a whole ritual. No, and it's really, to me, the real testimony, the way I test it out is it's a very important ritual if you do it no matter where you are in the world. If you're traveling, you find it may be tweaked, it may be modified, but it's something that you just still do. Do you
Mhm.
have something like that that's just a part of this is what I do, this is who I am, that's specific to your body?
Um, I mean, what I
Mm,
like to do, what I typically do is just smudge and pray in the morning,
mm,
right? Like put my sage on. I
yeah.
play my little I have this like trigger mantra song that I play. It's like 3 minutes long. So it isn't
Okay.
necessarily meditation for me, but
Yeah.
it's just like waking up,
Mm,
drinking that coffee, getting
mm,
that like
mm.
prayer in, purifying my space, right? And
Yes.
then I can go on with my day.
Mm.
But it isn't necessarily like connected to, like it's more like like my mind, I guess.
Can I ask, when you think back to your past, is there anything that was ever said or spoken to you about your body that really stands with you? I feel like most of the women I'm speaking to, there's been some experience, and it could be from any age, something that was said, a conversation that was specific to some aspect of their body, whether it be their skin, their hair, their curvaceousness, their lack of curvaceousness. Is there anything that comes to mind for you?
I don't know.
I mean, that's because some people, their stories can be so traumatic, they can think of it right away because it's
Yeah.
never left them. Other people, it's a pleasant, like they can remember somebody saying something that made them think about something that they hadn't seen or thought of themselves. So it's always curious. Like, I know, I wish I could say my whole body story, my whole life was just about me, but it's not. What people have said and thought, how I've compared myself and shifted something, saw the
Mhm.
way something looked on someone else versus how I thought it would look on me, things I stayed away from because I didn't think I was cool enough for, just kind of how I've spoken to. I will never forget. And this is kind of a hair story. I must have been maybe like 11, 12. My hair was thick and full, and I was brushing it out, just crying in the mirror. Just, it was all thick and ugh. And my mom was like standing in the doorway, so cool and chill, watching how frustrated I was with this thick, long mane of hair. I hate my hair. I wanted it to be straight and stringy and all of that to make it easy.
Mhm.
My mom casually she looked at me, she goes, Natasha, there are women that pay to have money like yours. You'll appreciate it one day. And she just turns and walks off casually. There was no debating. There was no, she needed to convince me. And that, when I think back to that little moment, it's like there are people, if it's your mother that sees the beauty in you, sometimes you don't need to go on and on. It is what it is. You
Mhm.
recognize this person will get it later. And she was
Mhm.
absolutely right. Do you have any moments like that that maybe you've even had with one of your children, or that you can that have played a role on how you see your body story as an adult?
Gosh, I don't know. This one's really hard for me.
I love
Why
asking questions. It's literally like what I was born to do. It's like my favorite thing in life.
can't I
But
think
it's
of
just,
some?
isn't it exciting to think about that? Like to take it that extra layer.
Yeah, what is it? What can I think of really? I mean, I have like some traumatic stuff that
No,
what
we don't want to recollect stuff that's going, not serve us right now. But that
yeah.
might even be, it's kind of like if this is your own personal kind of body story work that you want to think about, Loretta, it's like just peeling those layers back to like what, because it helps us understand where we are now. Like,
Mhm.
how would you talk about your body right now? How do you speak about it in the present? How do you feel right now at the moment?
I mean, sometimes I feel beautiful and
Mm-hmm.
strong,
Mm.
and you know, other times I feel, I don't know, I don't feel good about myself sometimes. I don't feel like I put in enough work sometimes.
Mm.
Like that I'm really hard on myself. And so I feel like there's someplace else that I could be, and I just haven't necessarily reached that yet. And so I probably talk bad about myself a lot of times. And that's why I'm not really, so eager to share right now.
Mm.
And the reason,
Oh.
yeah, let me think about my body story and talk about it, because as much progress as I've made, I'm still not the nicest to
Mm.
Loretta, right?
Mm.
At all. Um,
Ooh, girl, I empathize. I understand that. I feel that.
yeah.
Can I ask this just as we kind of think about the bigger mission of this body story? If there was a young girl, teenager, early 20s watching this or listening to this, what would you want her to take away or to hear? What would you like to let linger?
Um, just that whatever you're feeling is not gonna, you're not gonna feel it forever, right? We're
Mm.
just continue to move in and out of all of these different feelings that we have about our body and all of these different stages of life. And it takes work every single day. It's not going to be easy, but it just takes some work every single day.
Mm. It absolutely does. Loretta, is there anything that went unsaid? I feel like I'll come into this with one plan and then we just, like the ocean, just almost like how our body is just going to go up and down. We're going to have good days where we're like, ooh, I'm the bomb. And other days where we're like, where's my sweatshirt and my
Yes,
sweatpants? But is there anything else just that hasn't been spoken that you would like to share before we wrap this beautiful interview up?
I don't think so.
I just want to thank you so, and we've actually never met in person. I mean, this
Oh,
is
we
what you
need
gotta
to
love about
do this.
social media. Oh, but I feel like our energy, just some of the things you said today, I feel like there's a need to connect in real life, and we're close, so there's not an excuse. It's a good reason to go out for a nice hike or something.
Oh yeah, would love it. Would love it.
Oh, oh, well, thank you so much, and I really, really appreciate your time today. Thank you for sharing
Thank
your
you.
body story.
You're welcome.
Bye.
See you.